Diane, 11:30 a.m., February 24th. Entering the town of Twin Peaks. It's 5 miles south of the Canadian border, 12 miles west of the state line. Never seen so many trees in my life.
Welcome to Books in the Freezer. Welcome to Books in the Freezer, a podcast dedicated to the deliciously disturbing world of horror fiction. I'm your host, Stephanie, and today I am joined by Stoker Award nominated author and returning guest, Angela Sylvain, to celebrate Twin Peaks Day.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
And to talk about books you should read if you like Twin Peaks, as we do.
Yes, love it.
So, Angela, welcome back.
Thank you, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. I was so excited when you mentioned this topic. I cannot wait.
I was like, I need to have someone who's like a fan.
Yeah.
And we were talking, I feel like people are always in search of Twin Peaks, like read-alikes and movie-alikes, but Twin Peaks is so singular that the way we're going to be breaking this down is like, do you like this part of Twin Peaks? Do you like this part of Twin Peaks? Because nothing can be Twin Peaks.
100%. It's a singular masterpiece. We acknowledge that. And yeah, do our best to find little things that people might take from it and enjoy.
This episode is dropping on Twin Peaks Day, February 24th. So, listener, wherever you are, I hope you are having a damn fine cup of coffee and a slice of cherry pie.
I know I will be.
So, Angela, do you think you would be able to explain what Twin Peaks is to the uninitiated?
Well, this is such a funny one because it's basically about a small town where a girl turns up dead and there's mystery surrounding her death. And an FBI agent comes into town to help solve this mystery. And we learn that it is connected to many other things, other deaths, town mythology, and that kind of thing. But I mean, that just scratches the surface.
It's truly, that is like, yeah, that's like the season 1, like maybe synopsis. It's just, it goes so deep.
So deep.
So what was your history with it?
Well, I was like maybe a little too young to watch it when it first came on TV, and I still can't believe it was on like, evening television. Crazy.
Just like on CBS.
I like, can you imagine coming across that? Very startling. But I did start watching it in college, which was like the late 90s. And I think that was really, for me, the perfect time to watch it because in college, you're so, at least I was, very like into intellectual things and wanting to be kind of counterculture. And so it was a good fit. I quickly became obsessed. My now husband and I would watch it constantly. We bought the original VHS box set, which I still have. So yeah, we just went all in college and were hooked immediately, rewatched it a million times. How about you? When did you discover it?
I watched it, I want to say it was like 2014, 2015. It was on Netflix. And I think if it was 2014, I was like on maternity leave or like, not working at home with my baby all day. So it was funny because I think the thing I connected to was this like small town mystery aspect. Like I really didn't know about the like surreal elements at all. Like I didn't know who David Lynch was. I did not go into it like really knowing much about its reputation other than like it was an iconic 90s show and I liked crime stuff and I loved the X-Files, so I was like, I'm here for like a weird FBI 90s crime show.
100%, yes.
And then I fell in love with it and I was like, this is weird, but I like it. I do like this. And then it's led me down a journey of like, oh no, I think I like weird things, actually. I do. Then that's fine.
That's fine. That's good. We know that about ourselves.
But speaking of small towns with weird happenings, you released a really fun YA book called Frostbite that I read and I had a lot of fun with.
Great.
And that's getting a sequel coming out.
It is, yeah. So yeah, it has a little bit in common with Twin Peaks, not a lot.
We'll make
It's
it
like a
work.
weird small town. I know it's tangential, but yes, it's basically about Cold Snap is the name of the sequel. The original is a 90s sci-fi horror comedy about a small town that gets hit by a meteor and alien worms infect the hibernating prairie dogs and they rise and attack as happens. And girl Raylene and her best friend have to save their town from the spreading worms as well as a doomsday cult. So in this sequel, we're kind of seeing the aftermath of that tragedy and what has happened to the town. And we find out another chunk of the meteor had broken off and landed in Canada. So now they're going to be venturing north to once again face off with the alien worms while also dealing with UFO conspiracists and a government cover up. And it takes place during spring break. So it's very like wacky 90s infected co-eds in Canada. So there you go.
Okay. Perfect. I'm obsessed already. Like I said, I loved Frostbite and like the way you talk about it, it is really fun. Like it's wacky and stuff's going on, but it also has a lot of heart. Like I think I like teared up like once or twice reading it.
Good. Yeah, I think that
Angela.
you're exactly right. It's like it has sneaky Midwestern heart as part of it. So I like to hear that you cried.
I put that as a subgenre. Sneaky Midwestern heart. I guess I wanted to talk about like movies that have a similar Twin Peaks vibe. And of course, there is a movie in the Twin Peaks universe.
Yeah.
Fire Walk with Me,
Mhm.
which is the prequel to the first season because on episode 1, Laura Palmer's body is uncovered. Like it shows up wrapped in plastic. And so Fire Walk with Me is what led up to that.
Yeah. Although I think in release time, it came out after the first 2 seasons, right?
Yes, and I would recommend, like, I'm recommending you have to watch season 1, season 2, then Fire Walk with Me. Do not
100%.
start with Fire Walk with Me because then you know who killed her.
Yeah.
But it's just like crazy to think about Twin Peaks and the effect it has had on shows that have come out since, and like I feel like I see its DNA everywhere.
Totally.
And like obviously you and I were too young when it came out to know like was this like the first of its kind, this first like small town crime like melodrama, because that's something I've seen like time and time again. Like I watched The Killing and I was like,
Yes.
this feels like Twin Peaks. It's like Who Killed Rosie? Like everybody's a suspect.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing you see it in as far as TV show DNA is things like the X-Files and Fringe, where you have these investigators who are researching kind of weird paranormal, like Blue Rose style cases. So I think that definitely feels like an offshoot or inspired by Twin Peaks as well.
Yeah. I was also thinking about Lake Mungo and kind of this like, we'll talk about it, but like Laura Palmer-esque character who haunts the narrative, who like you go into this film, she's already dead. And I mean, I think the Lake Mungo is an Australian found footage horror film. And I believe the main girl in that movie is like Alice Palmer. Like she is very much based on Laura Palmer. And she is supposed to be like this girl who dies and the parents and the family are kind of realizing she was full of secrets and nobody really knew her.
100%. You can absolutely see the parallels. And even in the ending and stuff too, I think there are definitely some parallels with Laura Palmer for sure.
Yeah.
The other one I was thinking of that is just obviously it's going to be similar in style because it's David Lynch, but was Mulholland Drive, which I love.
Yeah.
And it's a similar one where the basic plot is like, you know, an aspiring actress befriends a woman with amnesia. which tells you nothing about it.
Yeah.
But it's very much like neo-noir thriller, very surreal. And I think the other thing I really like about it is that it has extremely idiosyncratic characters, which
Yeah.
is something Twin Peaks has too. Just these odd characters that are so memorable and funny,
Yeah.
and like nothing else anyone does, I think. So
Oh,
that was a good one too. I love Mulholland Drive.
absolutely. Should we start getting into some books? Because I feel like there's like other things that I'll talk about as I get into kind
Yes,
of like the way we've broken this up.
that sounds great.
I know we have read some books that are actually set within the Twin Peaks universe.
Yeah.
So I read The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer by Jennifer Lynch. Yeah, it's a rough one.
It's a rough one.
It's a rough one. If you've seen Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, you know, to put it mildly, Laura Palmer was going through it.
Yeah.
And she's a girl who was abused for a large part of her life. And this is her diary and how
Yeah.
she's dealing with it. And so I would say it's know that going in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Content warnings. But it's really well done. I
It
mean,
is.
it's just
And
intense.
it's very intense. And if you're a fan, you know, it is interesting to see like, oh, the context of the show and like see like, you know, the characters she's talking about, like when she starts talking about dating Bobby or being
Yeah.
friends with Donna and her relationship with Donna and her cousin Maddie and other stuff like that. So I would recommend, but that is The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer by Jennifer Lynch. Yeah, I would say that's a freezer book. I don't think we're going to do like freezer ratings for all of these because there's too many. But
Yeah.
for this one, I'm just letting you know it's a lot.
Agreed. Yes. Yes. And the one I chose that's in the Twin Peaks universe is called The Secret History of Twin Peaks. It's by Mark Frost, who was also involved in the creation of the show, along with David Lynch. And it's structured as like a mysterious dossier of the history of Twin Peaks. So it's like in 2016, the FBI discovers this mysterious dossier of all this information. And it's been put together by an unknown author who refers to themselves as the archivist. And the format includes all kinds of items gathered by them. So it's like letters and autopsy reports, news articles, transcripts of conversations, photos, all kinds of interesting stuff. But throughout it, it's being analyzed by an FBI analyst.
Ooh.
So, like, the margins have kind of like commentary on here's if we think this document is legitimate and it does look like it matches these historical lost documents. Like it even has references to Lewis and Clark and stuff and things they wrote down because they traveled near Twin Peaks. So it's super interesting, and it's definitely a room temp. I mean, it covers some of what happened in Twin Peaks, which is disturbing. But just the way it's put together, it's more like found things. And so it's a really fun one to just like flip through and gives you more context to a lot of the stuff from Twin Peaks. So it's a fun one.
Oh, I want to check that out.
You would like it.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
I love that when things in like fictional universes are treated like in this like very real way, like here's documentation and stuff. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first category I had in this is Laura Palmer, or stories about characters that haunt the narrative, like we were talking about with Lake Mungo. And I was also thinking about Jackie in Yellow Jackets.
Yes, that's a great one.
The character that haunts the narrative, I was thinking of Alison De Laurentiis in Pretty Little Liars.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about Rebecca by Daphne DuMaurier, which is another, like, going into it, I thought this was going to be, we were going to be following our main character, Rebecca. You're not. You're following the nameless second wife, the second Mrs. De Winter, who marries this man and moves into his grand house at Manderley, and his first wife, Rebecca, like haunts everything. Like her presence is just everywhere, and she can't get away from like the presence of Rebecca.
Yeah, living up to her and her like the history and what everyone else thinks of and the comparison to her. Yeah, it was really well done.
Yeah. I was also thinking about the graphic novel A Guest in the House by E.M. Carroll. Have you read that one?
No.
So this follows a similar thing where it's like a woman is this man's second wife. He's very closed off when it comes to talking about his first wife. He has a preteen daughter, and the second wife is just kind of struggling to find her place. And she thinks she like sees the second wife, or like thinks she's beginning to have like supernatural contact with this dead woman. And I do like that this one gets strange. Like it goes somewhere. I'm like, okay, that's
Did not.
interesting.
That makes me want to read it.
Yeah. And then a debut novel that came out last year, House of Beth by Kerry Cullen. I also really liked this one, which does have the setup of like this woman goes through something at her job, and she like leaves New York City and runs away like back home to New Jersey, where she reconnects with this like childhood friend that she has. And his wife has just died, and he like offers her like he asks her like if she wants to move in and like help him out and help him like homeschool their daughters. And she also starts to feel a connection to his late first wife. But all
Oh,
of these stories go in like very different directions. Like they have like the similar setup, but the way that they go about things is very different. Like they all are
great.
taking their own unique spin on it, and I love that.
Yeah, you have a lot of options there. This
Yeah,
one is on my TBR. I really
yeah.
want to read it.
I
Yeah.
really liked it. It was very sweet.
And we need a little sweet, even though we're in
Yeah.
the Twin Peaks universe,
Not
right?
to say it's not horror
You
and like
need.
bad things don't happen, but I was like, had me
So
going, oh, a few times.
I went a little bit liberal with my interpretation on this one of Laura Palmer
Yeah.
haunting the narrative books. I chose Pretty Little Dead Girls by Mercedes Yardley. And the reason I'm bucking the system a little bit here is because she's not dead. So she's not exactly haunting the narrative. However, I think it works because it follows a girl named Bryony who is destined to be murdered. That's like one of the first lines of the book. Bryony is destined to die. But fate has terrible marksmanship. So, in order to survive, she has to run as far and as fast as she can. So, the whole premise of the book is this girl is going to die. Everybody looks at her and they know it. And I think that's very Laura. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And even though Bryony is alive, she almost like behaves like a ghost. She accepts that death is coming for her. She's running from it, but she kind of it's not like she's denying it, and everyone else can see it in her. So I like it in that way. I think it was an interesting interpretation of this girl who seems to be doomed. It's definitely more whimsical, I would say, than Twin Peaks. So if you want something that's a little more whimsical, but also a little heartbreaking, it's a good one.
I think this one is on my TBR. It sounds really good. It sounds fun and interesting.
And it's short too. I think it's a
Ooh,
novella,
I like
if
that.
that helps you at all.
It does help. When you have a TBR my size, that does. Well, moving on to Twin Peaks, or weird small towns, because we had to talk about it if we're talking Twin Peaks.
Yeah, 100%. Let me see. I got to get my notes back to where I want them.
Here.
So, weird small towns. I chose Pines, which is the first novel in the Wayward Pines series by Blake Crouch. And it's about an FBI agent, Ethan Burke, who arrives in this little small town, Wayward Pines, on a mission to locate two federal agents who went missing there. So you can see the comparison, like FBI agent investigating strange happenings. But he is immediately involved in a violent car accident. And he wakes up in the hospital with no ID, no cell phone, none of his like belongings. And ends up getting stuck in the town that seems really idyllic and beautiful, but is clearly hiding something. It is weird. And also, he can't leave. He can't reach his family. He can't reach his boss. And like basically the people in the town are behaving increasingly oddly and are also increasingly hostile. Um, so it's very like packed with tension, I would say. You are dreading what is coming for him the whole time, which I loved. And it's definitely more kind of like psychological horror, I would
Yeah.
say.
I watched the show.
Yeah,
I
the
didn't
show
read
was
the
good.
books. Yeah, like it's got a good plot.
Yeah, and it had Matt Dillon, who,
Yeah,
as a child of the 80s and 90s, has a place in my heart.
we love that. I feel like we had to talk about Welcome to Night Vale because when I think of like modern weird small towns and horror, Night Vale is going to be the one of the first things that comes up. Did you ever listen to the podcast?
No, but it's on my list because you recommended it to me. So I
Yeah,
really want to listen to it.
it's very atmospheric. They're short episodes. They're like 30 minutes. You are listening to like a small town like radio DJ of like this a southwestern desert town. When they came up with the idea, it was like a town where like every conspiracy is true.
Yeah, I love it.
And so just like the announcements of the town, it's like, remember, do not go to the dog park after dark.
You're like, wait, why?
I feel like even within the like Welcome to Night Vale universe, there are like a lot of offshoots and characters. It's a whole franchise. I have the books where it is like literally the episode transcripts. There are also novels set in the town of Night Vale where you are following like specific characters and you will see like, oh, characters that have been mentioned. Like there's the man with the suitcase. There's a novel following the faceless woman who lives in your walls, who is one of the recurring characters of
That's
Night,
creepy.
Welcome to Night Vale.
Okay, I'm sold.
Voiced by Mara Wilson.
Oh,
So yeah, if you're like weird small towns, I feel like Night Vale has
love
got
it.
to be on the list. Which also had me thinking about American Elsewhere by Robert Jackson Bennett. And this is about a woman who's, I believe she's a police officer. I don't think she's an FBI agent. But her mom has died and she didn't really know a lot about her mom, but she finds that she inherits this like storage unit. And in it, she finds an address for like a deed to a house her mom owned, and it's in like Wink, New Mexico is the town, and she goes there and it's this like weird suburb that doesn't make sense. Just like the people act very strange and it's just one of those like something feels off
Yeah,
here. And I think it's really good if you like the weird small town but also like the cosmic nature that like Twin Peaks can get into.
that sounds great. And I was hooked immediately by like weird storage unit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that's a personal goal of mine is to at some point be left something weird that I can go investigate.
Right? I have all these clues.
Yeah.
So that's what I have for weird small towns. I'm sure there's a lot more, but that's what we decided.
Yeah, we can't listen. We could do offshoots all day long. We have to make it manageable.
Next up, we have She's Dead, Wrapped in Plastic.
What a start.
And this is books about missing girls.
Yes. I chose one for this that is, I think it's either YA or kind of YA adjacent. It's called Let the Woods Keep Our Bodies, which, what a title, by E.M. Roy. And it takes place it's also kind of a small town one. It takes place in a small town of Eston, Maine, where weird things happen, especially in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And it follows the main character, who's named Leo, and her girlfriend Tate, who we find out at the beginning of the book is missing. And no one knows what has happened to her, and Leo is the prime suspect. And she can't really remember what happened either. She has some memory loss about the events. It's written in dual time periods, which I really liked, going back and forth before and after Tate's disappearance. And it's really skillfully done, I thought, where you're finding out a little bit about what happened in the lead up and then what is happening after and kind of culminating in actually solving the mystery. And as the book goes on and Leo is searching for Tate, you find out more and more about the strange occurrences in this town. And it kind of gets into like urban legend territory, which I
Ooh,
love.
yeah.
And it also, I think, the vibes kind of capture the intensity of young love, which is very much a Twin Peaks theme. You
Yeah.
know, it's like this love is so powerful, it's going to burn us alive, kind of a thing. So it definitely has those vibes, which
Oh,
I
I
really
love that.
liked. Yeah.
I love that. I was thinking of The Dead in the Dark by Courtney Gould, which takes place, I want to say, in Washington. Yeah, I think it's a town called like Snakebite, Washington. It's a girl and her two dads her dads hosted this kind of like paranormal ghost hunting show, and they were originally from the town. And they come back into town, and a bunch of teenagers have gone missing. So they're being blamed for the disappearances. And so their daughter teams up with like another girl at school, and they start like digging into the history of the town and trying to find out like what's behind these disappearances and, to exonerate her dads.
Love it. Yeah. Sounds great.
And I also had Jackal by Erin E. Adams, which another like small town horror. A woman returns to her hometown of Johnstown, PA for a wedding. And during the ceremony, her friend's daughter like disappears, and she starts digging into like, oh, this is an epidemic of like Black girls who have been taken in this town. And it's like up to her to like get into this and solve it, and like the idea that this town is in denial and doesn't want to talk about what's happening, and how that's like complicit in this cycle continuing.
Yeah.
This is such a good book.
I loved this book so much. It was one of my favorite reads a couple years ago whenever I read it. And I think, too, I love the setting of Appalachia. There's
Yeah,
like some extra spookiness there. But yeah, so good.
the vibes of coming home and like staying with your mom as an adult, like I feel like she got those vibes, right? Like that
Yes.
that level of tension, that like new dynamic that you
Uh-huh.
have.
Out of town wedding,
Yeah.
like, you're coming back to your hometown for a wedding with the people you don't really know totally anymore or share the same goals, and you're
Yeah.
seeing your hometown very differently from how you saw it before. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm realizing we didn't talk about The Return.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went like season 1, season 2, Fire Walk with Me. At the end of season 2, when Dale is in the Red Room, he sees Laura Palmer and she
Yes.
says, "I'll see you again in 25 years."
Yeah.
And in 2017, 25 years later, David Lynch and Mark Frost dropped Twin Peaks: The Return.
Yeah, we're back and the, like, limitations are gone. I feel like
Yeah, this is Showtime, baby. We're not
yeah.
on CBS anymore.
No. They were basically, it feels to me like they were told, "Do whatever you want."
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they
it
were
felt that way.
it's an epic.
I watched it a few weeks ago for the first time in preparation for this episode. I felt weird, but I had kind of been putting it off because I knew that there was never gonna be any more new Twin Peaks.
I
So I kind of
know.
always wanted there to be more Twin Peaks for me to watch. And I
Yeah.
so I had, like, that weird, like, I can't watch it because if I watch it, there'll never be any more new Twin Peaks for
Yeah.
me. I will have seen it all.
Well, the good part about it, though, I'm rewatching it for the second time,
Mhm.
and we were talking before about how I am really starting to actually understand some things a little bit better with the second
Mhm.
watch. I feel like the first watch, it was just coming at me. I was just absorbing it. And now I'm starting to figure some things out. But that's the other great thing about something like this from David Lynch is you actually never can figure it out
No.
completely. It's all theories. So I hope that you find the more times you watch it, you're going to get
Yeah.
more and more out of it.
I've definitely found that to be the case, and I know we were talking about this before recording, but even, like, rewatching the show now, having seen Fire Walk with Me
Yeah.
adds a new layer, and I am going to start rewatching another rewatch of it now that I've read Laura Palmer's Diary and The Return. So like I
Yep.
feel like every time I have a little
Yep.
more context, so my takeaways, the things I'm focusing on are just completely different. And yeah, David Lynch was not known to want to explain his art.
No, he refused. He's like, that's not the point of art. Well, I can't wait. I'm going to privately message you some things about
Okay.
The Return
Okay.
I want to talk to you about. I won't spoiler them on the show,
You
but
can voice message it, like if you need to, like.
okay, I will, because
go
there's
through a few-
some bonkers stuff I'm processing.
Oh my gosh, there is one scene in the show that is just so haunting. The sheer violence of it and like the way it lingers on everything. There's a little boy that is killed,
Yes.
and I rewatched that scene several times because I'm like, oh my God, like the way this is set up, the dread, you see it coming to some degree, but the way it's done is so brutal and it does not go easy on you as a viewer.
No, no, no. The other one that really sticks out in my mind is a creature scene. The frog moths. There's an episode with the frog moths, and one of them crawls into someone's mouth. Do you remember that one? Oh, I can't forget it.
Yeah, so there's a lot. But I was reading like interviews too, and it was like the 2010s, we were seeing a lot of shows come back. Like I think like Full House came back, like we were seeing a lot of these like revivals. And so I think when they teamed up to do this, of course, David Lynch, king of withholding, was like had something to say about nostalgia and the idea of nostalgia.
Yes, and that is actually one of my favorite kind of themes to play with is nostalgia as a good and bad thing. I think it
Mhm.
really allows us to close our eyes to bad things and put a shiny surface on it,
Yeah.
which David Lynch does so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can watch season 1 and it's like, I don't know, kind of a cute, cozy show.
Yeah.
Then you watch The Return and you're like, "Oh my God."
Oh no. Yeah.
And then I kind of had in here like a Lynchian feel, which I know is a word that gets like thrown around a lot. And it's like hard to really pin down like what is Lynchian? Is it just like surreal in general? Is it like surreal with Americana? But there's just like, I don't know, something that it just like when you come across it, you're like, I don't know, that feels Lynchian to me.
Yeah, it's very hard to define, but I agree with you. Yeah.
So I had I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Iain Reid. And I feel like I just talked about this with Courtney Summers, but it is one of those books that like you read it and then you have to read it again because having the context of the ending recontextualizes the entire story and you start to like really go back and like, wait, what happened? And I don't know if you saw the movie adaptation, but that really
Yeah.
leaned into like the weird surreal.
I saw the movie, but I have not read the book and I really want to read the
Oh,
book.
they're different.
Okay. Okay.
I can see where they were pulling the surreal stuff from, but like I would say the storyline in the book is a bit different. It's so atmospheric too. Like you're in this car in this snowstorm. You're with this character and her inner monologue as she's like in a car with this guy thinking about breaking up with him and getting like
Hmm.
weird messages on her phone. And then like you get to the ending and you're like, wait, what was going on?
I love that. I
Yeah.
really want to read the book.
Oh, it's really good. And the audiobook is really good. Like the way it's done, there's a twist, and the way that they produce it with the audiobook, I'm like obsessed.
And I'll do it on audiobook. I love audiobooks. So
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to do.
that's a good one. All of Iain Reid's books are kind of on like the weird, dreamy side, and I do like that.
Hmm.
I was also thinking of Mona Awad, who has that like tendency towards the surreal, which I really like. Like I loved Rouge and All's Well. All's Well, you're following this drama teacher whose life is not going well. Like she was once like an up and coming actress. And now she's a drama teacher at this like small liberal arts college and like nobody respects her. She's suffering from a chronic illness. She's always in pain. And so like she's in this stage where she feels like she has to like justify her pain to people. And that's its own issue, but she comes across these like three strange figures in a bar one night, and they kind of like offer her a wish.
Ooh.
And so like her life completely turns around, but she becomes almost like maniacal with power. And it's like a
Yeah,
weird fever dream.
that sounds great. I have not read those two. I've only read Bunny.
I have not read Bunny because I started the audiobook and I felt like it was a little too good because they were annoying with like the bunny, bunny.
Yes,
I
yes.
was like, can't do this right
I
now.
hate you. Fair. They were annoying.
Yeah. And then Rouge, a daughter coming home for her mother's funeral, she like meets weird people at the funeral who like then introduce her to this weird like secret society. And it's got a lot of like mother-daughter stuff. But there's also like really weird dream sequences where she like is talking to Tom Cruise in a mirror.
Perfect.
And I've been obsessed with that. And then I recently read My Death by Lisa Tuttle.
Oh, I have not heard of this.
Oh, this was written in like 2004. It's a very short book, but it's
Okay.
about this woman, this writer who was recently widowed, and she's like out to lunch with her agent, and she's like, I kind of want to write a biography of this obscure painter. And he's like, well, she's still alive, like, go visit her and check her out. And so she goes and meets with this like old woman and her daughter, and she starts getting access to her like diaries and documents about her life and stuff. And um, she starts to see similarities to her own life.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
really good.
creepy.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Naked Lunch by William S. Burroughs, which is basically kind of a like fever dream of drug addiction, I guess, and kind of a hallucinatory journey. And it's written in a very non-linear, fragmented kind of way. So I think that one to me, even though it happened prior to David Lynch, was written prior to David Lynch. I think it was written in the 50s or something. It feels Lynchian. Um, and there is a movie as well, which I found very disturbing.
Oh.
It just blows your mind. You're like, there's like a weird sexual alien typewriter that's like thumping around. It's
I'm
very
obsessed with this
strange.
already.
It's like, be ready to be like, I have no idea what's going on.
The best. The
The
best.
best. So that's a good one if you want a classic. And then also, I've been really into, I recently finished Uzumaki by Junji
Ooh.
Ito.
Yeah, another like weird small town one
Yeah,
too.
another weird small town too. And I have the one that's like a volume of all the collected comics or manga together in one volume. Um, so for those that don't know, the weird small town is on the coast of Japan, and it's plagued by a supernatural curse involving spirals that manifest in like increasingly bizarre and terrifying ways. And I love the idea of like a shape
Yeah.
being, a spiral being the thing that curses your town. And I think it's from the perspective of two teens basically who are watching what's going on in their town.
Yeah.
But it causes all kinds of things from obsession and paranoia to transforming people into monsters to raising the dead. And the first one that comes to my mind, I think one of my favorite stories was when the spirals start affecting people's hair. And there's these two girls whose hair gets more and more spiraled in increasingly complicated do's. And it's almost like a hair battle, but the hair is sucking the life from them in order to like do this. So that was pretty incredible. And of course, the art is
Oh my gosh.
incredible. It's beautiful and dreamy and surrealistic. So yeah, I thought that was a good one.
It's iconic for a reason.
Yeah,
Did you watch I Saw the TV Glow?
I haven't watched it yet. So many people have recommended it to me, and I do think people say it's Lynchian, right?
Yes. Well, I was wondering if I was alone in that because that's not something I saw people talking about because it's like these two characters who are obsessed with a TV show. and everyone was saying it's Buffy, and I didn't watch Buffy, so for me it was like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Or
Love
like
it.
something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, watching the movie, it is very dreamy, and there's a club scene like in the modern day timeline where there's a lot of like dreamy like club singing, and it's like Phoebe Bridgers and like, very moody lighting, and I was like, this feels Lynchian.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I Googled it, and the director writer was inspired by The Return.
Okay, great.
And like, because it's a movie about nostalgia.
Now I want to watch it even more. I need to move it up my list 100%. I do have one other honorable mention that's kind of a weird one,
Okay.
and it's not horror. It's a book, or it's a story. Um, it's erotica, and it is by Chuck Tingle, whom I love. You know, we love his horror books,
Yeah.
but he also writes erotica, and he has a book called Twin Cheeks. Agent Boober Gets Me Off. And it's about a woman named Marge and her sentient log friend, as well as a lesbian T-Rex FBI agent.
I'm obsessed with that. And you know what? I feel like Dale Cooper would appreciate this.
Exactly.
He would love this.
There's like a search for the best cherry pie. I mean, if you want something like that doesn't take itself too seriously and, embodies all that stuff, the description alone is next level. At least read the description.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? I will. It's going on the thumbnail so the
Yeah.
people will know.
It's great,
I love that so much. Well, do we have any chilling obsessions or things you've been enjoying in horror lately?
Yes. Other than Twin Peaks: The Return, which I have been rewatching. It was my birthday recently, and my husband bought me this very cool set of graphic novels that I had never heard of before. It's called Lenore, the Cute Little Dead Girl. It's like a black comedy comic series.
That's so cute.
I know, it's really adorable. And it's inspired by, of course, the poem Lenore by Edgar Allan Poe. And it has very Tim Burton or like Edward Gorey vibes. The art is adorable. It's really like cute and spooky. Very sweet. So yeah, that's maybe my like little bit palate cleanser to Twin Peaks.
Oh, I love that.
It's like a cute darkness,
That is so cute. Wow, I love that. I am starting my Twin Peaks rewatch from season 1, and I love like a companion podcast, like a rewatch podcast.
Yes.
So I started listening to The Detective and the Log Lady.
I'm writing it down.
One of the hosts who hosts the Evolution of Horror podcast, but he's like the Twin Peaks fan, and he's doing it with his friend who has never watched Twin Peaks, which is like my favorite setup for a rewatch podcast, where it's like the person experiencing it for the first time, and then the fan that's like trying not to ruin things, but trying to like steer the conversation into like, oh, like, and what do you think about this character, and like, how do you feel about that storyline? And it's really fun.
That. By the way, I had been listening to a podcast for a while that was called Diane.
Oh yeah?
And that's a good one too. And one of the people on it, I can't recall her name, grew up in the town that Twin Peaks is based on.
Ooh, interesting.
So it was like her parents like moved them to that town because they loved the show so much. So it's an interesting perspective if you're looking for another one.
Oh, I might have to do that. Yeah, I love a rewatch podcast. I just finished Mad Men. I keep talking about Mad Men. I can't stop. But I was listening to a rewatch podcast with that too. So like, I just always need more discussions.
And another nostalgia one.
Yeah.
You're like fully into the like, dissecting nostalgia.
I am.
I love it.
And then I'm watching The Pit, so I do watch new things sometimes.
Good. You know what? You watch whatever you want.
I just always feel like my friends are like, and did you watch this new movie? And I'm like, no.
I'm a mood watcher too, though. Like, listen, forget about it. I'm going to watch what I want to.
I feel that. Feel that in my bones. Well, do you have a final girl song?
Yes. So I really thought about this because at first I was looking to perhaps choose something from the Twin Peaks universe, something from Julie Cruz or like a Rebecca Del Rio. But I feel like those vibes are a little chill.
Mm-hmm.
The vibes aren't quite right. So instead, I chose something I think could be on the jukebox in the
Oh,
Double
yeah.
R Diner, and it is You Don't Own Me by Leslie Gore, which was kind of a feminist anthem of the 60s. It's like, you don't own me, my body is my own. So I liked it because I think it captures kind of like the sadness of what happened to Laura Palmer. It's because, the world was out to get her and take pieces of her. And we as women can all kind of understand that, having these expectations and being coveted and sometimes destroyed by the world.
Yeah.
So I like to think that if Laura had made it to the other side and she had lived, maybe that would be her final girl song.
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
I will just always think of the First Wives Club dance.
Yes.
They all
Yeah.
get drunk and sing that song together at the
Yes, totally.
end. I love it. I think Laura would have loved You Don't Own Me
Yeah.
as her jam.
Yeah. Should we all embody that right now,
We should. I'm not just one of your many toys.
That's right.
See you again in 25 years.
Great. I'm going to start reading now. I will have even more recommendations 25 years from this day.
Love it. I was going to do that, or like, the gum you like is coming back in style.
Blackjack, baby.
Thank you for doing this.
It was so fun.
Books in the Freezer is a bi-weekly podcast. We post episodes every other Tuesday. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky at Books in the Freezer. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at booksinthefreezer@gmail.com. Links for all of the books mentioned will be in the episode description and at booksinthefreezer.com, where you will find a lot of information, like links to merch, the merch store, the Final Girl playlist, and our Patreon community at patreon.com/booksinthefreezer, where there's a lot of stuff going on. You can get early ad-free access to episodes. You can check out the Cold Read, the podcast newsletter that I write every month. And at the Malevolent Spirit level, you can listen to The House at the End of Fear Street, which is the bonus podcast I do where I am making my way through R.L. Stine's Fear Street series. And it has been so much fun. Some of these books are so unhinged, and it's been such a great time to go back and revisit them. They're so 90s in the best way. So all of that is at patreon.com/booksinthefreezer. And it is also not too late to join the annual reading challenge. You can check out all the information linked in the episode description, but we would love for you to join along. It's fun. I have been your host, Stephanie Gagne. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time on Books in the Freezer.